I think the Islanders actually had a better record than Montreal going into the playoffs, coming out of the regular season. It was a weird year up there north of the border. It's still weird up there, but
3,500 fans, but yet everybody's outside the arena, packed shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah, it's a completely idiotic. But that's for another day. I will say that, but Montreal found a way to win, and Carey Price was vintage Carey Price. And I think back to when the Canadians traded for Shea Weber. They traded P.K. Subban, who was burst onto a scene as a superstar, and all the Canadian fans were disgusted about that trade. But they bring back Shea Weber. Shea Weber has a goal last night. This rookie Cole Caulfield out of Wisconsin is an amazing player, and he has shown all the skills that they saw going into the draft last year. They have a nice mix of old versus young, kind of like the Islanders do right now. And if the Islanders somehow, some way, can figure out a way to win tonight, and you have an Islanders-Montreal Stanley Cup final, that would be amazing. That would be ridiculous because nobody, and I mean nobody, predicted that would be the case. So they still got to take care of business tonight. Is not going to be easy.
No, not at all. Do we have a Kucherov update yet? I keep looking, and this is going to be cloak and dagger all the way up until the drop of the puck, I would imagine, right?
We do not have any sort of update that he is playing. Most people, all the hockey insiders that I've spoken to or I've talked or I've read about, all feel like he's not going to play.
Okay.
That whatever his injury was, whether it was a reoccurring hip injury, that was the reason why he stayed out of the regular season in the first place, because he had a hip labrum surgery before the season started, or if it's a rib, or if it's some sort of internal bleeding because of Scott Mayfield's cross-check, or it's something with his lower leg. Nobody is really sure exactly what's wrong with him, but nobody is expecting him to play tonight. If he comes out tonight, it could be one of those Willis Reed moments at Amalie Arena tonight.
Come on.
I'm just telling you that
you do not invoke Willis Reed with the Tampa Bay Lightning. I'm sorry.
It's Nikita Kucherov is their star.
I know
Willis
he's a
Reed
star,
was the
but
star.
it's the Lightning.
Oh, I know that, but
Different
the Lightning,
story.
The Lightning also have played with 11 forwards and 7 defensemen. But as I told you yesterday, the big impact is that if he's not out there for the power play, it changes that dynamic a little bit, as where Andre Palat kind of whiffed on a few one-timers. I think they'll try to keep everything going towards Stamkos or Braden Point. But be that as it may, they have to stay out of the penalty box. They have to be a tight team tonight. They can't make the bad mistakes. They got to get a little puck luck like they did at the Nassau Coliseum. But you know what's amazing to me, G? After they lose 8-0, the whole world is collapsing around the Islanders.
Sure, and then they're down 2-0 in the next game, too. So.
Right, so 10 straight goals, essentially 10
ended up being
goals.
12 because they were up 3-0 the game before. So it was 12 straight Tampa Bay Lightning goals.
Right, so what has to happen now is, they have to weather that initial 10-minute storm at the beginning of the first period. These guys are going to come out flying. Everybody knows that. And they just can't have the turnovers in the defensive zone. I said that about going into Game 6. I'll say the same thing about going into Game 7, but even more important because you don't have the fans behind you. You have to go on the road, and you have to try to win in a hostile environment, which is very difficult down in Tampa, much like it is difficult at the Coliseum. And, it's these are games, and I think Islander fans know this, but these are games where guys like Brock Nelson and Josh Bailey show up, and they've been kind of quiet in this series.
Hey, Josh Bailey.
Right.
Ha! I want to know, would you score a goal? Where are you watching this game tonight? Are you going to be watching it with Sid and Winnie?
No. I will not be with them. I will be out here watching this.
You're not going to be with them?
No.
Wow, I'm surprised. I think that this is a family moment, this Game 7, no?
You think so?
Yes, absolutely, I think so.
Yeah, sometimes it's a little rough, and I think Sid's probably going to end up watching with the other ladies.
Oh, okay,
of the
okay, all right.
So I'm not usually invited to that.
Yeah, all right. I did not know. I thought maybe since it's a road game. Oh, is she going to end up going to Borelli's? Do you think?
No, I don't think she'll be I don't know. She's been at Borelli's before,
yeah.
So with the crazy Stu Feiner, tracking down the Braden Point jersey and putting it in the freezer.
I forgot. There are some curses in there.
Yes.
But I forgot to tell you guys about it if you didn't see it. So Stu Feiner on his Instagram and Twitter page, he went to find a Braden Point jersey to put in the freezer because Boomer told him to do that. And he was going all around Long Island yesterday to try to find a Braden Point jersey to put in the freezer. He went to like 4 different places. Finally, he found one, and he filmed a video, and he was screaming his face off, talking to Boomer himself. So if you guys could find that and we could play that at some point, it's absolutely hilarious.
Now, here's the thing about this. Now, I kind of did a little bit under the radar. Of course, I took pictures and I put it on Twitter initially when I had Sidney Crosby's jersey in the freezer.
Yeah,
I think I put a couple of the Kings jerseys in the freezer. I had a couple of Montreal jerseys in the freezer. I didn't go on social media and start screaming at the player, though. Like Stu is screaming.
Stu does it his own way, though.
I know, but he's screaming at Braden Point like, this guy's not going to do bleep. I mean, I'm just doing a Stu Feiner type of thing. I appreciate it, and I'm trying to help him, and I'm trying to give him some tips and things of that nature. I think dialing it back and not screaming about what's not going to happen or what's going to happen is a little touching the money, but I appreciate him.
It's not with him, though, because he does it every game. So sometimes they lose, sometimes they win. He's consistent. He does it every single game. You can't tell Stu Feiner to dial it back. There's just no way. I mean, it's like telling a whale to stop eating as much fish as they eat. This is what they do. I mean, Stu is going to scream. Stu is going to be in your face. So you got to let him be him. But it was hilarious because the video starts off with him going, Boomer!
That's exactly right. He's out of his mind. I want the Dante Cosby's in bed page, and I got the jersey. I went with the Dicks. I went to the motels. I went. I'm like, holy crap. I literally almost had a nervous breakdown watching it.
Yeah, no, I know. Is this a watch the game out type of game, or is this a
not for me? It's not
focus on the television. See,
no.
I like to. If I'm not going to be at a game that's of this magnitude, I like to be surrounded with other like-minded folks. I do like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's a big game and you're rooting, because you're not going to be in a place that's got any Lightning fans in it tonight if you're watching it with Islander fans. So if you walk into a place, everybody's going to be on the same page, and that, to me, is almost like it's the best. It's the second best thing you can have to being at the game. That's why these watch parties are so popular.
All right, so here's what I like to do, honestly. I'll have my Casamigos. Mm-hmm. I'll have my Swoon ginger and lime mixer.
Okay.
And I will be focused in on the television and the game, and I do not want to be distracted by anything. The only thing I get distracted by every now and again is I do have a text thread with a bunch of my hockey teammates that are going back and forth at each other because there's some Ranger fans and some Islander fans and all that other stuff. That nonsense sometimes gets a little bit overwhelming and stupid, but for the most part, I just want to watch my son-in-law. I want to watch how he's playing, how things are going, and I want to see how much ice time he's getting, who he's running into, whether or not his lip is 15 times the size than it was before he got hit with the puck.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Like I told you, no smoochy with my daughter, I could tell you that. But at the end of the day, I just want to watch the game, and I don't want to be distracted by anybody else. I don't want anybody else talking to me about the Jets or the Giants or what the Mets are doing or whether or not, Aaron Judge is stuck in a slump or Gary Sanchez changes batting. I just want to watch
You're just
the
not
game.
an
and
approachable
I want
guy, I guess is what
right,
you're trying
to say. Right, and I want to be 100% left alone. That's why when I go to the Garden and I go to those games, I don't mind in between periods. That's fine. But if you come to me over, during a period and ask for something or say something, whether it be nice or whatever, I mean, you're going to get a scowl. I don't care. I definitely will scowl at you as the game is going on.
Unbelievable.
What do you mean unbelievable? I want to watch the game.
Yeah, I understand.
First of all, I bought my tickets as a fan to be able to go sit at the game and watch the goddamn game.
Yeah, but you are a man of the people. You always have been.
Yeah, I know. In between periods, man of the people stuff, I got it.
But during the game,
when the game is on, I want to be left alone.
Okay, I understand. I mean, to me, I'm an approachable guy no matter what. And
you're an ambassador.
I am an ambassador. So if you want to come up to me and talk to me about anything during the game, I can serve those two things at once. I can watch the game and be able to talk to you. I think I got to go out and watch the game tonight. I have to be around Islander fans. Oh my God!
I didn't appreciate the Islander fans throwing the beer on the ice and the beer cans and everything else after their team won in game 6. So. I can only hope, and I know that there's going to be a lot of emotion, a lot of passion, especially if they win tonight. And I just hope that, I don't know where Islander fans gather, maybe out in front of Borelli's or something, I'm assuming.
A lot of them will be there.
But I would just think, man.
It was a watch party again, right? Isn't there?
Right. I'm sure that Stu Feiner and everybody will be there. But it's like, you want to be happy and you want to enjoy it. I mean, we all need happiness. We all want to be in a good spot. We all want to be able to celebrate. But winning the conference championship, as I can attest to, is one thing. Winning the overall championship is another thing. And I think that if they are able to win tonight, they'll celebrate that win for sure. The players will. The coach will remind the players that we have another hill to climb. And as most coaches would probably tell their team. But the thing about the Montreal situation, which is interesting, is that Canada still hasn't gotten its act together regarding their vaccines and COVID-19. So they got a prime minister, like I told you, has got his head up his keister. But they did not expect this to be the case this year. You got 99% of the Montreal Canadian fans out there wanted the general manager fired, wanted the coach fired, and wanted to start all over again. And here comes this improbable run where they were the underdogs in all three of their series leading up to the Stanley Cup final, and they accomplished the impossible in the eyes of many. And, I think the Islanders expected to be where they are, and they're one game better than they were last year right now at this moment. So I don't think hockey fans in general thought that it would be an I and a Canadian final. I think hockey fans in general thought it would be a Lightning and a Vegas Knights final, or a Colorado Avalanche final.
Of course. I mean, in the betting public in Vegas, and everybody thought the same thing. I mean, if you look back, even in the second round, if you went back, every team was ahead of the Canadians and Islanders when it came to odds to win the Cup. Every other team that was involved in the postseason. The last two that were still alive were the Islanders and Canadians, and they were down at the bottom. I remember I told you when the Islanders were down 2-1 to the Bruins, they were plus 2,400 to win the Cup, and I'm pretty sure that the Canadians at that point were like plus 5,000 to win the Cup. So this has been an improbable run for both of them right now, and it does. It's the law of averages thing, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got the one underdog on the one side of the bracket. Can you get the other underdog on the other side of the bracket? And you also are going to have two Eastern Conference teams in the Cup final regardless of what happens tonight, which is a little bit weird.
And, the other thing, too, is remember, this is the year of Phil Mickelson and Tom Brady, and there's a lot of weird things going on in sports. And I will tell you that the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, I'm sure is going to be under a lot of pressure to start opening things up there because, you saw the people outside the Bell Center. Mm-hmm. I mean, is anybody listening to what this guy has to say about social distancing or
Clearly
any of
not.
this other crap?
Clearly not.
I mean, it is so idiotic and hypocritical. And he can scream and yell from the high heavens about, new variants and all this other stuff. If they could get out of their own way and just vaccinate the far majority of people that live in Canada, they wouldn't have this problem, and they only have 38 million people up there. So his mismanagement and bureaucracy within that government is 10 times worse than ours because they can't even get this freaking thing done and taken care of. And by the way, I do have a personal thing here. And
well,
I'm
obviously, yeah. I mean, this is, you have a trip planned. And
right.
It's a big trip that you're looking forward to, big golf trip up in Canada coming up. Now, the other part of this whole thing that I thought would be a bigger issue in this last series was that, you have Vegas, which has basically been open for months and months and months, and they're packing that building. It's crazy. You would have thought that would have been a significant advantage for the Vegas Golden Knights against the Canadians, who only were allowed 3,500 people in the building. But they're just so used to playing without anybody in front of them, it doesn't even matter anymore.
Well, Game 5 was a huge win for the Canadians in Vegas. Mm-hmm. And, that the Islanders need to do that. That's what that game's got to look like tonight, and
they got to get the first goal tonight. I'm sorry, I don't want.
I mean, that's not back. Islander hockey. Islander hockey is to get down by a goal or two, and then all of a sudden come out of nowhere and tie the game, and then. And then late in the game or in overtime, do something spectacular like Anthony Beauvillier did in Game 6. That's who they are. That's been the way that things have gone. But it has not been easy for Islander fans.
But in this series, up until Game 6 was a different story, and they did do that. But up until Game 6, the way that it was first team to score was the team to win. And I just think in a Game 7, craziness, underdog, getting on the board first and just settling in and playing the Barry Trotz, roll the lines, everybody do your job, just get ahead. I mean, so you're not playing with that anxiety. I don't want to put the game in the hands of Vasilevsky late in the game and being spectacular and pitching a shutout. That's what I don't want. I don't want that. I want the Islanders to get ahead, and I want them to squeeze the life out of the Lightning with the Barry Trotz way of doing things. That's what I want to see.
Well, the thing about the Lightning, and we have seen this now since Game 1, they are trying stretch pass after stretch pass after stretch pass. And what that creates, it creates an enormous amount of pressure on the Islander defensemen. And they got to be aware of that, and they can't let people get behind them, and they have to be solid on their changes. They got to stay out of the penalty box. I can give you a million reasons or a million things that they have to do in order to win, but your best players have to be your best players in a Game 7. So this is just like an NCAA tournament game where the underdog comes in, and it's one game. It's one game where you just have to do what you do on your shift every time you're on the ice. And lo and behold, anything can happen. And I just think that the Canadians are a great, example of that. They were down 3-1 to the Toronto Maple Leafs in their first series. And that's where Corey Perry stood up in the locker room and basically said, guys, this is a privilege to be playing here, and took all the young guys and made them realize that they could accomplish something special. And when you have the mixture that the Canadians have, that the Islanders have, and to some extent the Tampa Bay Lightning have, the Lightning are more, they don't have like the young guys like a Beauvillier or a Barzell or a Pelech and a Pulak, a Noah Dobson. There's a little bit more youth on the Islanders than there is on the Lightning. So your older guys have got to come up. They got to step up. The Nelsons and the Baileys and the Palmieris of the world, the Pageaus, they have to be big tonight. They have to be a force offensively as well as defensively.
Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the red bell so you're notified when we have new content.